Hey everyone, this is Martin Rooney and I am on location. It's so remote. I'm sorry we're starting 5 minutes late. You know why? Because we had to reboot the Wi-Fi. We had to make stuff happen out here. And as you can see, I am in a remote location in upstate Western New York, and I am at one of the famous fitness resorts in the world. It is known as Beaver Hollow, and we have had an amazing number of days here, and as a result, on Friday, every Friday, I am trying to bring you the big idea. So what is the big idea? What is Martin Rooney's big idea of the week? It's this one idea. It's this thing that just hit me and it resonated with me that I felt compelled to share, but not only that, to start discussion and ultimately to make you better. Now, on this today, I'm going to present the big idea, and while I'm doing that, hey, send in your comments, send in your location, where you're coming in from in the world right now, and ultimately, if you have anything to add that can help during the big idea, it's gonna help everybody else as well. So behind the camera always, I've got my wife traveling with me right now, because every Friday I'm trying to be somewhere in the world. And quick introductions, you know, we can even say it over here. So send it, it's in there. But hey, I've got my nutrition guru expert right here, Kathy, and she is going to be helping me out a little bit with this as I go through as well, because we've had incredible conversations about what this facility is, what it does, but where the big idea came from too. And hey, her daughter Jackie over there as well. And you know, so one thing I will say about the big idea is you always got to build a big team around you and get some great ideas too. So we are going to go over it right now, and they're going to be giving me great input as well. Because man, did I get some? I actually got more than one big idea for you this week, guaranteed. But here's the big idea. This, as I said, is a fitness resort. This is, it's got many purposes, many different uses. I have watched C-level executive teams here from major organizations, and they are here to not only meet, but to remind themselves about getting their health back and how important that is in organizations today for productivity and ultimately profitability. There have been people that are here just to come and in some way get more mindful, to get their life back. There is a beautiful koi fish pond with koi as big as me swimming around in there. You're gonna feel pretty peaceful when you do it. And the food that is served here is absolutely off the charts to get you connected back with the food as well. But where the big idea came from is not the concept that there are fitness resorts. It's not the concept that health is important. But there was also another demographic of population that's here. And these were people, I don't know if we want to use the term, you know, and I use it loosely today because we're going to make people better, but these were people particularly that were either obese or now on medication, and as a result of their current state of fitness, they had to come somewhere like this for help. And did you hear that word, for help? And this was the thing, I couldn't put myself to sleep. It just disturbed me so much because what I started to realize was the big idea, and here it is. Don't wait for there to be a problem to start paying attention to your health. So did everybody hear that one? I want to say it again. Don't wait for there to be a big problem, a major issue, that you visited the doctor, now they say you have diabetes, or now you've got heart disease. Don't wait to be diagnosed with cancer to now all of a sudden say, now I got to get my health in order. And this is what I saw over and over again with the people that I saw here this week. And so I'm not here to say that there's a problem. We know that. The CDC has labeled obesity a global pandemic. So when I use those words, global pandemic, that should scare you. And not only that, because this pandemic is directly related to the 5 major killers of humanity. So the 5 major killers of humanity, from heart disease and diabetes, all the diseases you could get that have the best chance of killing you are all directly related to obesity. And see, that shouldn't get you upset, that should get you excited. Because there are places like this, and that means this is something we can control. See, that's something that doesn't have to happen. So one thing that Kathy gave me, another little, a sub-big idea, is health doesn't happen to you. So everybody hear that one too? Health doesn't happen to you. You should be in control of your health. So I think sometimes today we're going to talk about it, that people either make excuses that, oh, I don't know how this happened to me. But what we're going to say today too is, I understand it, meaning I don't want to stand here and preach, and that's what I do every time I'm on video. I preach about fitness, but I don't ever want to preach and say, oh, it's easy. It's just so easy. I mean, hey, to eat right, to exercise, to get enough sleep, it's just so easy. It's your fault and you didn't do anything about it. I know it's challenging, and I know it can be difficult, and the habits that people have created, they start off like light cobwebs, but they become strong as cables controlling people's lives. I saw it. I get it. But here's how I'm going to give you a little few tips. So I've got 6 tips for you today that we put together here at Beaver Hollow. 6 tips that are going to ultimately, I want to help you. See, anybody can talk about a problem. Anybody can identify it. Anybody can say, oh, there's a problem. Obesity is high. See, but you know my style. I'm the kind of guy that I want to do something about it. So what I want to do is to be able to deliver solutions. So if you're a trainer listening right now, guys, this is our job. This is ultimately the job that you want to help people lose fat, you want to help them lose weight, you want to help them get their lives back. If you are somebody right now that is struggling with some of these issues, you are not alone. And I'll let you in on a little secret. We all struggle with it. If you think it's easy for me to sit down and eat the broccoli instead of the dessert, it's not. But it's the habits that I've created and the ways that I've done it that I'm able to do those things. And I'm going to share those with you right now. So starting off, and I made a little list, but it was upside down right there as we were scrambling. But one of the great ideas I got from the team here is you got to start small. You got to start small. See, in particular, they specialize. This is a specialty place where they're dealing with certain people. I am not the expert in the world in working with someone hundreds of pounds overweight. And as we were discussing it this week of how do you do it? Like, how do you help these people? The first part, guys, you got to start small. And one of the pieces of research that I learned this week is what they say here at Beaver Hollow, strive for 5. So strive for 5. A 5% difference in overall body weight, body composition can have incredible impact on your health. And so everybody understands 5% for somebody that's really overweight, that's not a lot of weight. That's something that's doable. But what we're saying is not to do it in a week, not to do it in a handful of days. You're trying to do that, say, over a year or a number of months to a year. If you did that, you made that 5% change, it could radically change your health. So what are we saying there? Start small. For anybody listening, you've been on the couch for 2 years, start with a walk around the block. Hey, start with one small change. Remove something. Are you drinking diet soda? Like, you still doing that? Are you drinking energy drinks all day? Hey, are you having your coffee, but it's not even a coffee anymore? It's kind of like a 1,000-calorie milkshake that you call coffee. Whatever it is, there's something you can remove, and there's something you could add. You could add some water in there. Just go with more water. Remove the tremendous number of calories that you're having with liquids, and immediately you're making a change and it's going to start to make a difference. So I don't know what your change is, but guys, make something small. It's not staggering. You do not have to work out twice a day, 7 days a week, and you haven't worked out. You don't, it's the small changes to do that. So number one, I want to get you excited that it's a small little change. Can you do it? Right? And the answer is everybody could do it. Now, once you make that small change though, step 2, you got to stay consistent. You got to stay consistent. You have to make a commitment. Like what I learned here, I keep hearing that word. That word is written on the walls here all over the place. You got to commit. You got to make a commitment back to your health and to yourself. And it's interesting that another piece that I learned, man, all these great nuggets of wisdom. One of them is that many people just have disconnected themselves from health. You've disconnected yourself from how food affects you. You've disconnected yourself that sleep is important. You just disconnected. And that's how these things happen, because you consistently do the wrong stuff. So what I'm asking you is, you got to make a small change, but once you've made that small change, you have to stay consistent, okay? Now, the next one, and this is big. When you walk this campus, which is, how many? 300 acres, this 300-acre mega campus of health and rejuvenation, when you walk it, there are constant, whether you want to call it a measuring stick, a measuring tool, there are ways that people are assessing their progress, they're measuring themselves. Hey, from advanced in-body technology to nutritionists on staff, there's always an assessment. So I want to give you step 3. You ready? You can only manage what you measure. So whatever it is that you're shooting for, do you want to lose weight? Do you want to build some muscle? Do you want to be more fit? You got to take some measurements. You've seen my videos. They always have a timetable or some kind of thing that you have to achieve. If there weren't any measurements, weights wouldn't have any numbers on them. So everybody needs to start taking some measures. And that was the breakthrough. See, most of the people that I've seen here this week, they just stopped measuring. They haven't been on a scale until they finally go to that doctor because they can't walk on their vacation with their family. And then the doctor says, holy cow, you're hundreds of pounds overweight. It's because they weren't watching. Why do people have high cholesterol? Because they're not watching. Why do people have low bank accounts? Because they're not watching. Why do people start to develop diseases over time? Because they're not watching. But if you measure stuff, if you inspect what you expect, you're going to start making tremendous change. So Step 1, got to start small. Step 2, got to stay consistent. Step 3, you got to start measuring something. So what is that measurement you're going to take? How are you going to do something about it? And that leads us to step 4. So as I already said, this big idea, this is not done on my own. I have to always seek out support teams. I have trusted people and advisors and ambassadors of fitness that are always bringing me information. And I did this again right here. They're standing right there making sure, because I'm waiting for some of the great one-liners that I got that they have here. But that brings me to step 4, and that is you got to build the right team. You got to have a support team. It's critical. The studies will show you if you hang around people that are overweight, you have a higher opportunity or chance to be overweight. If you hang around people that do drugs, the odds are you are gonna do drugs. Who is your team? Who are you spending the time around? And guys, if you're spending the time around the wrong people, that may be one of the hardest ones on the list. You got to get rid of them. But if you are spending time around people that are not supporting you, they are not on board with you, as I found out here. Hey, if you come to this resort and you're trying to quit smoking, or you come to this resort and you're trying to lose weight, but your spouse or the people that are closest to you are not here and they're not trying to do that, it's going to be a really, really tough road. So building the right support team around you. And you may say it sounds tough, but I'll say this. It's not as tough as getting that notification that you have some chronic disease that you didn't pay attention to because you hung around the wrong people. You have to make that decision. And I think it's an easy one to make. So building the right team around you is the next step. And then from there, we've got 2 more, which I'm trying to remember what those are, which I'm going to put those down. So we got 2 more. Okay, so we got that one. And so this one was a biggie. Sorry about that. And this one is biggie, and this one we went across, and there were some great ideas right there, which I'm going to even let Kathy say this one because it's hers, but it's celebrate your successes. And as I was saying that, Kathy and I were sitting here, and I said, what do we say here, Kathy? Like all of a sudden, like, man, people have lost some weight or they feel better about themselves, they're exercising again. What do we say? Go, go have a thing of ice cream, or what is that? Like, how do we celebrate the success? So, Garrett, get the camera on her, man. Give him that one that you said, which was the best one-liner.
You aren't a dog. Don't reward yourself with food.
See, so right there, guys, that one is tremendous. That it's like what we were talking about so much was the relationship with food. That it's like, guys. So yeah, it was almost like that's not the way to maybe celebrate this success. But what do you enjoy? What do you really like? But also the philosophy too was, hey, but if it is have a glass of wine or
it's
have
a splurge.
Something, yeah,
you can spoil yourself, but moderation.
But that. We're not being so strict here that it's kind of like, oh, you can never enjoy anything again. It's guys, walk the middle line. And I thought that was interesting to hear that, because you might expect us to say, oh, well, you can never have these things again, and this isn't how it works. But guys, you got to celebrate your success. If you've made tremendous improvement and you've stuck with the 5 tips that we've given you already, I think one of the biggest things that people aren't good at is celebrating themselves. Right. That we're our own worst critic. But what we're saying here is, guys, if you have some issues going on and you can change them, or your clients do too, this is important too. If you're a trainer, are you celebrating the people's successes? Like, when do you do that on a regular basis? And I'll tell you, you will grow your businesses, because this is going to be a place that people are going to want to be there. And maybe one of the great lines for that is, what gets rewarded gets repeated. So did everybody hear that? So what you reward and how you celebrate things, they're going to do it again and again for you. But if you don't, and she's sneaking out.
She's sneaking away. People are writing in saying they love that line. Love that line.
And then, hey, number 6 right there, too, once we've gotten down the home stretch, is you can't give up. You can't give up. And I don't know how to motivate you. I don't know what is the most important thing, but I will say this. As a father of 4 kids, I can never be the one that's going to come home and tell them that either my life expectancy is down, or I now have some kind of disease I can't cure because I never took care of myself. I'll make you a promise that will never be the conversation that I will have when I go home to see my kids, because I will never give up on fitness. You can never be too strong. You can never be too fit, but it's the kind of thing that it is work. Like, as we've learned right here, it's work, and there are challenges, and you're going to have bumps in the roads, and maybe you're working on something and you broke the habit a little bit, but if you stick with it, guys, it's better than the alternative. And I saw that here this week, that, I think maybe the toughest part, or why it affected me so much, is because as a coach, and as you develop more empathy for people, you start to see what people are going through, and you know what it's going through. And when you start to imagine yourself, I can't imagine myself at that weight, or I can't imagine myself at that level of health. I can't imagine myself that now I have to reach out. I have to reach out and invest money and energy in my time because I can't take care of myself. And all of this stuff is preventable if you use the 6 points that we went over. And that brings me up to the last point on this right now, and I think this is a powerful one that we've covered today to cover, and then we're going to go to questions and comments from everybody, and we'll see what we have. But that last piece is excuses. I get it. You're going to say, I'm tired, I'm busy, I got a lot going on. And here's what I'm going to make you a promise. Exercise is going to bring you more energy. Getting more sleep, turning the computer off, it's going to bring you more energy. But one of the biggest excuses that I hear all the time is that I can't afford it. So they'll say, I cannot afford to eat right. I can't afford to do it. And guys, this week, what I also learned, hey, it costs people money, it costs insurance companies money. It's a tremendous investment to try to get your health back. So what I'm going to ask you right now is, if you're telling me you can't afford to be healthy, I'm going to challenge you, can you afford not to be? Because as we discussed all this week, hey, you can get it done, and it shouldn't have to cost you any more. So those guys are excuses, and those are excuses you need to drop. Because again, I'm going to ask yourself, what would it be worth to have 20 more years of healthy life? What would it be worth to enjoy your kids, to enjoy your grandkids longer and longer, or for your clients, or for the people out there who are working with people? What would that be worth to someone? And the answer is always the same. The answers are, it would be priceless, or I cannot put an amount of money on that. So if we know that now, then we have to do something about it now, so that we don't worry about the issue after it's gone too far because we weren't watching. Which, for everybody that has just joined us for the big idea this week, that was the big idea, is don't start paying attention to your health when there's a problem. Start paying attention to your health right now, so there is no problem. So the problem doesn't happen. That is maybe the Rooney rule of the week. And hey, some other one-liners. Treat yourself like a car, guys. I bet you get your oil changed. You don't wait till the oil completely runs out and you seize your engine and then you go to the mechanic. You don't run out of gas. I don't see people running out of gas too often and walking 10 miles to a gas station. And when they put the gas in, it's the right gas. So if you have a car that runs on unleaded fuel, you're not putting in diesel, or you're not going inside and dumping Mountain Dew down the tank to see if your car works. So why would you dump it down your throat? Right? So if you're taking better care of your car, which we heard people have the epiphany here, man, I'm taking better care of my car than I am myself. Time to switch that paradigm, because this vehicle you have, guys, this is the greatest vehicle you will ever be given. There will not be another one like it in the history of histories of humanity, and it's way better than your car. I guarantee you that, because it's going to take you to way more incredible places than your car ever could. So that is my big idea of the week. From, as I said before, we are in western upstate New York at Beaver Hollow Fitness Resort, and having an amazing time with the things that I've learned here as well. But let's open it up. Have there been any comments, or is anybody coming in on anything?
Yes.
Let's hear where people are coming in from. If anybody's got any questions, comments, anything, we'll do some quick shout outs, and then we will close out the show.
A bunch of the familia. John Prano.
John Prano in the house. Hey, get ready. That's the guy with the guitar. Get your guitar ready, man. They got the mic. This place, unbelievable.
We have Brian from TFW Mayopac.
Mayopac, I just was there. The event was still so unbelievable. That charity event we did, you guys are on fire.
Scott Green and Mike Clark from Charlotte.
All right, hey, we got our home base coming in, man. Guys, hey, I'm flying out of here. We're going to the airport in 30 minutes, so I'll be there in a little bit.
Michael McGee saying Roon Dog. We have Theo, Kennedy Combo, who you are repping, repping his shirt right now.
Repping Kennedy, Sacramento, California. Guy, anybody listening, check them out. TFW is there.
Theo, Iceland in the house.
We got Iceland. Theo from England.
I scrolled.
Yeah, just keep going. Yeah. Hey, Theo. Hope all is well. Send us another picture of your children eating broccoli.
People are saying, yes, this is a true compound effect. Yes, inspect what you expect.
That's a good one.
Loving those liners.
That could be another big idea, guys. I don't know which big idea was the big idea that hit you the best, but take one of those and do something with it over the weekend so it becomes part of you by Monday, ready to rock.
Having the right people around you is so true. Loving those lines.
Hey, the one-liners, guys, I don't know what works for you best, but I think as I've tried to define it down, so if you've ever seen the Rooney's Rules book, which we went over this week, like, guys, it's distilling the purity of the idea down to one idea for yourself that can make that happen.
Then we have Abdullah Rahman saying, I actually once went to celebrate my success with my coach and it was the best day.
Well, hey, I had a TFW Kuwait right there, I believe, and he's been on fire. He doesn't miss one of these calls, too.
Hoping to be a coach soon. Michael Murphy saying, nothing better than a little morning motivation.
That's Mikey to friends in Azalea, if I'm saying that right, in California.
Little vitamin R.
Everybody needs a little vitamin R.
I'm going to say this correctly. Kenny Hall from Squim.
From Squim,
saying,
Washington.
Speaking the truth.
Tell Debbie, we just went over it today. She better be showing up, with us. I cannot believe she doesn't think she didn't earn it.
Mike Subs, got to be that role model. Alan Belcher saying awesome stuff, showing this now.
Alan Belcher, UFC phenomenon, guys. Listen to him right there. He's got some great stuff. And hey, we're going to get on a call soon, Alan. Tom just wrote me about that today.
Shamrock, Wesolowski.
Yep, so the Polish Nightmare butt in Scotland. So Shamrock, I hope all is well. And
Kian saying TFW saves lives.
Like that one. Well, hey, and what I'm going to do, because we're going to close this out instead of
a
going
lot
through this
more.
because there's so much. Hey, I'm going to answer you guys personally on there, but here, man, bring everybody in again. So, guys, this is Martin Rooney. I am going to be signing off, for Kathy, for Jacqueline, from here in Beaver Hollow. If you ever want to be interested in a fitness resort or finding out more, check that out as well. And, guys, if you like the big idea or anything else, and you think spending 20 minutes online is great with me, check out the upcoming Training for Warriors certifications. The final list is in. They're all over the world. And, hey, imagine 2 full days of motivation and energy. So if this got you fired up in your chair and got your heart pumping a little bit, wait till you come work out with me. But I am signing off from beautiful Western New York, where it never rains, only sunny all the time. And hey, guys, I hope you like that big idea. It not only helped you out some, but you helped somebody else out with it. Because always remember, as I'll always say, when everybody shares, everybody wins. So this is Martin Rooney signing off for La Familia of Beaver Hollow. And hey, we're going to keep bringing you a big idea every week. So be ready.